So, my mission is,
Sorry, I
oops.
was late.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah. And so I'm really passionate about helping people remember that they can heal and tapping into the how we can do that in a more natural way, of course, using traditional means if necessary.
Love it. Absolutely. And, I have to say that, 20 years ago, I started on my own health journey that got me interested in supporting others as well. And through that process, it's just taken me down a whole trajectory of, really, I've spent a lot of years working and supporting women in their health and, being in an empowerment space there. So glad that we can do this together and impart some information. So first of all, we want to disclaim because, that we are not here to diagnose, treat, cure, prevent any illness, right? That is not the intention of this. What this is for training purposes and to let you know that some of the things that we're discussing, that we are compliant with the FDA, but they're not, they're what we call generally regarded as safe. So it's a different category, but know that we're adults, we can make our own choices, and we know when something feels right for us and when it's a good space for us to be. But we know that the body's the miracle. We just need to give it the things that it needs to function correctly. So let's talk about chronic inflammation. So there's two different kinds. There's discomfort, right? There's chronic discomfort where you're in pain all the time, right? Chronic inflammation where your body's in a state of overcompensating for the inflammation in your body. So there's also something that's called TDOS syndrome, which is toxicity, deficiency, obesity, and stress. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that today, but I don't know if you knew that there's different kinds of inflammation. Sometimes we talk about inflammation and it kind of is overreaching, but there's good inflammation because it's your body's natural immune response to something that's happening, right? So you break your ankle, your body has to go into good inflammation to help that ankle heal. And there's bad inflammation. So when you think about bad inflammation, it's really our immune system that's running out of control. So especially if you're in Las Vegas, most of the time we're all suffering with allergies here. So sometimes you'll see autoimmune disorders and asthma. Those are all bad inflammation. But then there's that out of control inflammation, which is when your immune system is totally running crazy all over the place. It's just running amok, right? So think of heart disease and diabetes and dementia and depression and cancers and autism and all of those things, right? So,
And
but
chronic low grade inflammation, sorry, Jojo,
oh, you're
is
good.
it's really like when you have for a short time you have inflammation, it's good, but then as it continues over time, which is why allergies and these kinds of things can turn into autoimmune processes, because the exposure to the inflammation over a long period of time, which is what it's chronic state, that can cause issues. So that's what we don't want.
Right, absolutely. That's that chronic growing inflammation that destroys our organs over time, right? Our ability to function properly. So, what causes inflammation? Does anybody know what causes inflammation? Anybody experiencing like anything like, oh, we want to know, obviously you're all here for a reason. There's something that drew you into being here. So was it some of the pictures that we posted on Facebook that showed chronic inflammation? Was it that your body's experiencing something and you're not quite sure what's going on? But there are so many. This is not even all of the list. Like I could have created slide after slide after slide of things that cause inflammation. But if you just look through this, like lack of exercise, but it's lack of oxygen in our system, mold and allergens, and we don't even know a lot of times that what we're eating is such an allergen to our system, like peanuts and corn and wheat and hidden infections and dairy can be such a trigger. Tobacco, is anybody smoking? We won't judge, but if you're smoking, we got to have a serious
Yes, I'm seeing
conversation.
some great responses here, Jojo, in text, like allergies for someone, allergies to food,
Mhm.
depression, and most of the listed stuff.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. So, I know a lot of us love bacon, but it's totally not the best thing for us, right? So all of these things can create inflammation in our system. And as it does, things show up. But one of the things is what it does is it creates oxidative stress in the system. So this toxicity happens inside of the body. But, I just did a whole class on endocrine disruptors. We don't even know all of the chemicals and the pesticides. 86,000 chemicals have been created since 1950. We have almost no idea what any of those do to the body. Almost none of them have been tested on what happens to us. So, we have all of these things that are attacking us every single day. So what do we do about it? But what about oxidative stress? Sharon, tell us a little bit about how oxidative stress affects chronic inflammation.
Yes, and they're almost synonymous, right? Because you get on this hamster wheel in a loop that when you have chronic inflammation, it leads to oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is you can read the slide there, but think of it as if you put a fruit on the table. In 5 days' time, you go back to that fruit, it's no longer as shiny and crisp and beautiful. It starts to degrade, which is the same thing that's happening in our bodies. And that's happening because there's a discrepancy between free radicals and your ability to remove toxins. And so the reason why diseases occur over when you're older as opposed to when you're a teen, half the stuff that happens to us as we age really didn't happen then, and that's because our cells were primed, they were responding to different things, plus they didn't have the same exposure with time to the different inflammatory inducing processes that JoJo mentioned before, and those are wide and many. So here are some of the outcomes of what's oxidative stress and what is inflammation. In fact, every disease has to do with chronic inflammation and oxidative stress because that affect the mitochondria. And the mitochondria, if I start saying all these big words, they're really just batteries in the cells. When the batteries in the cells start to kind of die off, you get an effect where the cells are no longer efficient. And so they start to communicate very haphazardly. And you don't feel this happening, right? But over 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, and then we start having knee pain. And then we start having weird rashes. And then we get our wrinkles get worse. And for men, fertility issues, even hormone issues, ladies, this is all a part of the accumulation of what happens to our bodies over time. So there are ways to stabilize some of this. We're not trying to stop aging, right? But falling apart is inevitable.
I'd like to stop aging.
It's not going to happen, JoJo, but we could prolong it. Lots of research on the horizon that's showing some amazing things in the biohacking kind of field, which is, where I come in, that can help with decreasing some of these effects.
Absolutely.
So
go ahead.
Yeah. No, just, I love this slide because it's giving you, here, this is our gift to you guys, which most of the stuff you already know. And you don't have to necessarily go through life being a saint, but here are some things from the slide that JoJo put together that you can do at home to reduce some chronic inflammation. Go ahead, JoJo.
So for sure. So let's go back just 1 second. So when you think about like if any of those things are existing in your life right now, some of them are creating some issues or some challenges, right? Even if they're underlying and we don't realize that they're there, they're happening. And so obviously we want to be able to give you some really simple steps to what can you do at home? What can I just do on my own? Right? So obviously eat anti-inflammatory foods. And so what does that mean? But like leafy greens and it's the smart foods. We know that Brussels sprouts and broccoli are good for us. So it's just a point of taking the time to learn to cook them in a way that you love them. So your body starts to utilize them. I promise you that they're good when you do. But fruits and green tea and black tea, like there's so many things that are anti-inflammatory. So want to know more? Google anti-inflammatory foods and you'll be able to find a huge list of things that you can incorporate. Obviously, if you're smoking or you're vaping or you're chewing or any of those things, they are creating serious inflammation in your system. And so
and I want to jump in a little bit. JoJo, see that salmon? I love that the mackerel tuna salmon. Like these, if you have those and take those supplements daily, they have a huge benefit for cholesterol and your cardiovascular situation, which is completely tied to inflammation.
Right. So even if you're not eating them, right? You're just taking
Yes.
supplements. So good. Limit or avoid alcohol. I know we're like, oh my gosh, no more wine. Can we really like not have wine? So, a lot of people really count on it's a social thing. It's a relaxing thing. We've really involved alcohol in a lot of what we do. And so know that it is absolutely inflammatory to your system. So I'm not saying quit it forever. I'm just saying limit it as much as possible. So, avoid the inflammatory foods. So increase your anti-inflammatory, avoid the inflammatory ones, like all that baked stuff. I know we're going into the holidays, but bake your own stuff so you know what's going into it. Bake your own cookies so you know the things that are being used in it. Look for things that don't have all the added sugar. There is ketchup out there that doesn't have added sugar that actually tastes pretty good that you can utilize, right? So, and so when we're looking at, processed meat, that's like salami and stuff like that. Processed foods like chips and crackers and all of this stuff. That's all stuff that's creating inflammation in your system. And I know they're all but that's all the fun stuff. Know that as your body's going to crave what you give it. So the more that you give it anti-inflammatory foods, the more it's going to crave them. So what about stress techniques? Do you think it's important to have stress techniques, especially right now through the holiday? Yeah, I think so. So what about journaling and meditation and even movement? Like movement can help you de-stress as well. So take time away from your computer. We're also stuck into the Facebook world. Sorry, not picking on anybody because I'm just as bad. Our devices are with us all the time. And so just to be able to take some time away from that and rest away to process and journal and move and maintain a healthy weight. And if no question that being overweight or obese can it's an increasing point of chronic inflammation, but it's kind of like a circle, right? So more weight gain, more inflammation, more weight gain, more weight gain, more inflammation. It's this really vicious cycle that we get stuck in. And so to address that in a real way can help us, and regular
And
exercise.
if you guys, I want to add to that, JoJo, like if you guys think about when you're stressed out, and many of you have heard of cortisol. So that is one of the stress hormones that it's supposed to go up and down when you have a stressful situation that leaves. But it is one of the hormones, that and insulin, that tells your body, hold on to weight. So any one of you on a weight loss journey, this is going to be a huge part of what's happening with you holding on to that weight because of the chemical response of your body.
So important. And what about exercise? So, exercise can actually increase inflammation and oxidative stress, but it can also reduce it. So we want to make sure that while we're moving and we're adding in regular movement and we're lifting and we're going on walks and we're doing all of those things, that we're putting good fuel in our system to support our bodies so it doesn't get overly inflamed, right? And then who's sleeping well? Somebody put a 1 in the chat if you're sleeping 4 to 5 hours a night. Put a 2 in the chat if you're sleeping 6 to 7 hours a night. Put a 3 in the chat if you're sleeping 8 or more hours a night. Nice. Good, Donna. Good. Okay. You guys are sleeping pretty good. Not terrible. Not terrible. 6 to 7 hours, most of you. That's good. That's good. We really want it to be 8, even 9 if possible, just to give you some little extra, right? And
Yeah, because that's when you
can
heal.
only repair in our sleep, right?
That's right.
What were you going to say?
No, I was saying that you said it, that is when you repair, guys, when you're sleeping, because otherwise your body is going, and all the metabolic processes that contribute to us being human and doing human things like blinking and talking that we don't think about, that takes the body work to do.
Yeah, right. And Dolores, you're funny. How often the dog wants out. I know, isn't it so crazy that we interrupt our sleep all the time to take care of the dog? It's just a thing, right? Yes, us dog lovers, we do things for those dogs.
There's a lot of good sleepers in here. Okay.
It is, right? I love it.
Yeah.
So, and it's so important to utilize quality supplements and nutrients. We are just not getting the things that we need from our food. Unfortunately, our food supply is bankrupt. It's covered in toxins and chemicals. It's covered in pesticides. It doesn't have the nutrients in it that it used to have. And so that's an important conversation. Once upon a time, there used to be this layer of microorganisms that lived in the soil. And their entire job was to break down the rocks in the soil. So the minerals in the rocks would go into the soil. We'd plant a seed in the soil. The plant would uptake all of those minerals into itself. As it grew, the minerals would be in the plants. We would eat the plants. The mineral would be in us. But we have chemicaled and pesticided our soils so much that that layer of microorganisms does not live there anymore. And so we are missing all of that mineral that usually would have come from our food. So when we talk about the quality of supplements is so important, and actually having to supplement, a lot of people go, oh, I eat good, but it's just not enough anymore. Right, Sharon?
That's correct. And let me just add that this is such an important fact, guys. People supplement purchase is a huge market. So people are buying supplements, and people are buying supplements not knowing that a lot of these things are full of fillers. So they're not really giving you the ingredient that you're looking for. Like if you were wanting to take magnesium or potassium or something like that, get yourself good quality supplements, because at the end of the day, you'd be wasting a lot of money by buying a lot of stuff that doesn't serve you. So that's where getting that supplement that has the potency of what you're looking to get is super important. That's a mindset thing that I like to tell people about and have them start looking at that.
So important. And Parveen, I see that you say sugar is my weakness, and you aren't alone in that. It's that way for a lot of us. And it's not your fault. And just so you know, there's like entire laboratories full of people in white coats that sit around and do nothing but put together salt, fat, and sugar to attack our leptin and our ghrelin, which are our satiated hormone and our hunger hormone, and they get confused. And so sugar weakness is a piece of that whole process. So as you put in some good nutrients, like I said, your body's going to crave what you give it. So the more it craves the sugar, the more you give it the sugar, the more it's going to crave the sugar. So there is a point where when we break the cycle, that need for sugar starts to go away. And so it actually can happen. I've been watching it for 18 years. I know it does. And
I'd like to add to that, JoJo, too, that, sometimes when you have these intense sugar craving, guys, it might be a good idea to check your gut balance, because if you have an overgrowth of one organism or a parasite, that can give you a huge sugar craving. So that's somewhere to look at.
right, we talk a lot about that candida, but you know that candida lives on sugar, and what it does to like trick your brain is make you think you're craving sugar so it can get what it wants, right? So interesting. And
Yeah.
a lot of times we go, I just don't have motivation, or I don't have the willpower. And just know that it's most of the time not your fault. It's not your fault. It was designed that way. And so that's why we're here, because we want to support you through that. Right. And Donna, I agree. Move to Italy, because the food supply is much different there. What they're
I hear.
oils
Yeah.
is much different. So, so those were some of the things that you can do on your own at home. And, I'm glad to email you the list of things that you can do. If we need to go back so you can take pictures of those slides, please let me know. I'm happy to go back so you can do that. But, some of the ways that Sharon and I work with you. So, oh yes, Ionic Supreme. We're going to talk about that in just a second. Thanks, Danielle. But some of the ways that we can work with you to help relieve inflammation. Let's just look at a few things. So there's some things that I work with supplementally, and then also Sharon works with, and then together we do these incredible things. So just so you know that we believe that a cell is just a cell, it's just a cell. So when the body starts to go wrong, right, we see one domino fall over, then we see another domino fall over, then we see another one fall over. And we just got to go back to righting those dominoes. But everything that happens to our body starts at a cellular level. And it's just something that goes wrong with a cell inside of our body. It's either overly toxic, it doesn't have the right nutrition, it's not absorbing water well. There's lots of things that happen with our cells to help them degrade, obviously, with the chemicals and the toxicity in our system. But if you ever want to go watch this video, this is just what I believe is absolutely no question when we repair from the causal level, which is the cell, that everything is related. So, you know, if it's diabetes, if it's heart disease, we call them two different things, but it's just a cell that's gone wrong. So take a picture of this so you can go on YouTube and watch this video. It's actually really enlightening.
Oh, you better
That out there for
move.
you.
You better get it before I get it.
Can you mute that? Can you see it?
Let's see. I don't have the slide yet, JoJo. I'm
No,
still
that's
on.
okay. I was just hearing noise in the background. So,
Okay. Oh, I
okay,
see.
you're okay. I got it. So when some of the things that I want to share with you, so when you talk about how does chronic inflammation affect us? Well, you can see, right? So look at Jane. And I just want to show you a few of the things that we've been able to do through supplementation that have supported us. So this is Jane. You guys, can you imagine? Like this is just this, we just took this picture not that long ago. So when you think about the 10-year gap that's between these photos, does she look like she's aging backwards? Yeah. But is she? She's still aging, but her body is doing it in such a well way instead of an illness way, right? So the things that I work with, just so you know, and some of the things that we're bringing up, they've been completely clinically studied. We have over 27 clinical studies and more are coming. They're all double-blind placebo studies, which are important. So, which means that not the clinician nor the person who's in the study know what they're taking. It's not until afterwards when the results are presented that they actually know who was on what, right? Who had the placebo and who actually had the good stuff. So double-blind placebo studies are really important. But Recharge NAD is a blend of broccoli seed, fisetin, NAHD, astragalus, and tocotrienols and tocopherols. This is just a small list of the things that this cool little pill can do. Not only does it look cool, it does really amazing things in the body. So, you're funny, Parveen. Where is willpower and where can I buy it? Well, we're going to help you with that because as your body alkalizes and regenerates, we can help with that. But I'm going to send all of you. So everybody who registered, I'm going to send you the free 15-page PDF on the benefits of this one thing. But we're talking about neuroinflammation. So our brain is functioning better, reducing stress and inflammation in our cells, actually providing proper cell function, like proper energy to our cells. So it's helping with our respiration and our digestion and our movement. So many amazing things happen inside of this little capsule, right? So when we look at Dick Souter, who at 82 was on his way to what he called the old folks home. I'm on my way. He didn't think that he was still going to be here. Today is 92 in the gym working out and is attending weddings and graduations of his grandchildren and great grandchildren that he never thought he would be at. So when we look at aging, when we say reversing aging, it's just about quality of life and what can happen to us when we do that. And so cleaning ourselves is so important. So cellular cleansing. So it's not just doing a juice cleanse, but actually getting into those cells and reducing that extracellular water that prevents our nutrition from absorbing, helps to rebalance the body and the pH level, which Parveen would absolutely help you with that sugar craving. So it rids the body of impurities. It reduces our fat cells, the size of our fat cells. Know this, you never, ever, ever lose a fat cell. Your fat cells are yours for life unless some doctor goes in and sucks them out. So, right? Your body knows how many fat cells it was born with, and that's how many you will die with. The thing is that what happens with fat cells is they get bigger and smaller. So we want them as small as possible.
Unless you get them removed, you know.
That's what I said. Unless the daughter goes in and sucks them out, right? But then your body can actually regenerate its fat cells because it knows how many it's supposed to have. So be really careful when you don't have those sucked out. So, but clean the blood, even your smallest capillaries. You get rid of metabolic waste. It helps the body to absorb more easily, and it can improve gut health. But when we look at our environment, the air, the food, the water, the chemicals, the stress, the things that are constantly around us, cleansing is an absolute necessity for our bodies. And so, oh, that's weird. I'm not sure why that started so quick, but I just wanted to show you what happens to our cells when we cleanse. Can you all see that? Can you hear it?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, can't hear anything, but.
Can't hear it?
No.
All right, that might be my fault. Hold on. Okay, let me go back. Okay. You hear that?
This is the ideal
Yes.
person's blood.
Yes.
Nice and round and hydrated, and the little white blood cell in the middle doing work, checking on each of them, making sure they're healthy. Here's someone with a challenge, possibly too much sugar. After the cleanse, everything's hydrated and round. Here's someone with an even deeper challenge. All of the cells seem to be stuck together and a little translucent. Looks like that they're not stuck like they were before.
Like little bouncing cells.
This person possibly has eaten too much meat. Has too much fat in the bloodstream. That's the triglycerides you see there in the back. Little white blood cell there doing its job. This person might have been exposed to something. Suddenly his blood cells are in serious trouble. Same person after his 11-day experience. And this person, of course, I am sure wasn't feeling well. This is just 11 days later. 4 days of cleanse and 5 days of replenish.
Isn't that amazing? Like, I love that video. And
Truly.
I mean, really,
Yeah.
that video was done over 20 years ago, and that's what got me interested in utilizing the cleanse that I use. But so adaptogens are amazing plants because they adapt to the environment that they grow in, and they're exposed to such harsh environments. And so when we put those in our body, they adapt to our environment. Sharon, your environment and my environment are completely different. So we have to have something that can go in and adapt to each of our environments to protect us from oxidative stress, to support our healthy brain function, our immune system. Danielle, you said that this was your stress relief. We call this our mommy juice, right? This is our mommy juice. It makes us happy mommies. And it helps us during that time when our moods are way out of control and out of whack, supports a healthy gut, and also supports physical movement. So it's a quick adaptogenic tonic that helps support us and really starts to reduce that inflammation that's really comes from cellular stress. Nitric oxide. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about oxygen, and Sharon's going to talk a little bit about oxygen, because there are several things that we do, one that she does in her office and one that we can do at home. But nitric oxide and oxygen, really, it's our miracle molecule in our system. Oxygen does everything for our system. So not only does it increase our blood flow, but it protects us from all of those things that are breaking us down and protects us from those degenerative cells. It can actually help you reduce fatigue. It helps your cardiovascular system. It helps your brain function. So incredible. If anybody ever wants to read this incredible book, I think I just had it up there, The Nitric Oxide Solution. It's an incredible book that explains how all of these things work inside of the system. So also, I added in some sleep support and renewal. The Cleanse for Life is all there. So sleep support, you put a couple sprays in your mouth, and it actually helps you to hit that restorative sleep level and reset your circadian rhythm, so you're sleeping in the right rhythm and the right amount of time each night. So this is really just, as far as I'm concerned, the ABCDEs of inflammation reduction. So I added this in because I wanted you to see the kit that I'm using with the patients that I'm working with. This is my friend Sarah. A couple of years ago, we almost lost her, but this was just taken a couple of weeks ago. That second picture, look, it's just incredible. It's just amazing what happens when we support the system, reduce the inflammation, get rid of the oxidative stress, and the cells are working correctly. So I've thrown this in here. You guys can scan this QR code And what this does is it takes you right to the chronic inflammation kit that we've put together, which includes the nitric oxide, the sleep support, the cleanse for life that helps, that Parveen, that's going to help you with that sugar craving, the ionic supreme, and also the recharge NAD. I'm going to send you that 15-page PDF so you can also see the benefits of that. But there's a full money back guarantee. There's free coaching and support that I'm offering. There's also free private community support. So if you're on Facebook, which I think the majority of us are, then there's a whole group that we can. So I say at this time of year, you know, the retail price on this is $350, but today's special is $236. It ships for free. And so know that putting this in your system is going to help you through this holiday time, moving into the new year, where you can really start to take this on. You know, we're going to have fun during the holidays. Don't feel like you can't have fun, because none of us live in a box. But you know, for the first 5 people who order today, I'm going to do 2 one-on-one coaching sessions with you. That's a big deal, because we'll take some time and really dive into what's going on with you. So if you have that QR code, save it, scan it, and we can chat more about that if we want to at the end on the Q&A. But I want to also have Sharon share with you what she does. So not only can she do this in her office, but she can do this virtually with you, which is amazing. So tell us all about the meridian stress analysis.
Yeah, so it's, you know, the meridian stress analysis. Think of the processes that are going on inside of our systems before we even know about them. The way our cells communicate with each other is by changing of electrons. That is the language that they use, and which it gets interrupted with inflammation, with oxidative stress. And this is why we need things like nitric oxide, ozone, NAD. If you're hearing these kinds of terms, it pumps into helping with that cellular output. So we all have an energetic aura around us, and this allows me to take a peek at what your body is dealing with without you knowing what's going on. Identify places where you're stressed out. So if your body is using energy towards trying to fix something that you don't know it's trying to fix yet, right? Because it's not yet in a symptomatic stage or a disease state, then we can look and see where these stressors are and intervene at that time to help prevent disease from, or giving you the best fighting chance to prevent disease. So a part of that means, I know JoJo gave you an incredible list right now that you can get, but for those of you who want to take a deeper dive into individualizing what your system might need, this is a process that we could go through with the meridian stress analysis. And in person in my clinic, I offer several things, all to do with energy, where we can mitigate the effects of oxidation and inflammation in the system. So you already saw the first one was the meridian stress, which I can do, guys, you know, through quantum space. So, you know, we can talk about that. We have an offer coming up that, you know, you can take advantage of that. But the microcurrent neurofeedback, and this we'll dive into in a different webinar, but somebody had put into the chat that they were depressed and they felt that that was causing inflammation, and that is a fact. In fact, because the brain leads the body, you know, a lot of the oversight to inflammation starts in the brain. And so we have like a rise in Alzheimer's, depression, anxiety, these kinds of things. So this is a modality that I use, microcurrent neurofeedback, to help soothe the system. And it's 95% reduction in depression and anxiety symptom. And if you're dealing with, you know, running a business or brain fog or some of the things we go through as women or with aging, even men, you know, this is a treatment that works great for that. The ozone therapy addresses, so JoJo gave you some stuff you can do at home. Well, this is a treatment that I administer by IV in the clinic, and what that's doing is ramping up the cells. Each of your cells, those batteries that I talked about before, you know, one of the causes of disease is the reduction in our ability of our cells to actually use that oxygen. So we're breathing it in, it's going into our circulatory system, and it's sort of passing out as carbon dioxide. So this is a way to really get that oxygen to penetrate into the cell, and it helps to equalize that free radical production. I add something to it called glutathione. So that would be like degunking. That video that you saw, it's an IV form of helping to get rid of toxins that we accumulate over time. And this glutathione we naturally make in our system. However, as we age, we make less and less of it, thereby compounding the effects of chronic inflammation and oxidative stress. And that's what the IV infusion do as well, guys. And ultraviolet is simply an alternative to or I shouldn't say an alternative, but it is an amazing treatment if you're dealing with some kind of infectious process, because the light rays, there's no risk of gut dysbiosis with taking antibiotics. So this is a very strong way of getting rid of different parasites, viruses, bacteria in the blood that continues over weeks. And so, guys, in your area, there might be practitioners doing this as well. We're just giving you, the information, and we can take a deeper dive into that if you're interested in booking with me. But anybody who lives in Las Vegas, I'm offering this percentage off if you mention this webinar, if you come in.
So, and I at home do my own nitric oxide, and then I go into Sharon's clinic and she does ozone therapy on me. So I do both, because why not? Why are we not supporting ourselves as much as possible, right? So when I can do, that's great.
Yes. So I want us to I want to change the dialogue in our heads about how we think of health. And traditionally now we're waiting for things to happen, and then we go to see the doctor, we can't get in, and this just mess. So these are processes, guys, that are studied and that's going on. And so you take back your power and integrate some of these things into your existence that can really go a long way to increase your health span. And so the Meridian, it's an energetic assessment, and what you're getting is and I can customize a supplement list for you if that's something that you desire, but you're getting a detox and a rebalancing of your energetic space, which then allows your body to receive everything else that you're doing to it, because you're deconfusing your innate intelligence, which is that the energy that's telling your system or your cells what to do. And so you're going to be getting these reports. I will email them to you if you choose to get this treatment. And there you have it. That's the value of what we're giving you today.
And you can do that virtually, right? So
I can do that virtually, yes.
And then send you the tincture in the mail so you can use that at home, and then you'll have the reports to be able to go over and see if there's things that you want to continue to work on. But this is a really great baseline information for you to understand where to move next. So that total value is $430, but today it's $300. So if you scan that code, scan that little QR code in the corner and use the code DEC 5130, it's going to give you that $130 discount. So you'll see that it shows up to $430, and then it reduces it down to $300. So cool. So you could do the chronic inflammation kit, you could do the meridian stress analysis, but I say even better, give yourself a gift this Christmas, this holiday season, and choose both. And choose both, and then you get to work with both of us.
Yeah.
But we're going to really, there's Sharon's info and there's my info. So take a quick screenshot of that if you want to keep it. And then we're just going to do some Q&A, because we want to really hear some takeaways that you learned from this, because I know everybody took something away, and how can we support you? So whether it's you do home stuff and you do this all on your own, or you utilize Sharon's system, you utilize the isogenic system with me, either way, we're all working together to help support you. And we don't care who kills the bear as long as the bear gets killed, right? So we want, it's not good for bears, probably. I should stop saying that. But so we want to be able to support each one of you, however it is that you're feeling called to be supported. And so I'm going to stop sharing, and let's just have a chat. So I think that you all should be able to unmute, because I don't think I muted everybody. Can everybody unmute? Somebody try for me.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
All
Easy.
right, Donna, good. I'm glad. So, somebody unmute and tell me one thing that you feel like you learned from that fire hose of information.
For me, it was the video of the showing the cells and how what they do after a cleanse.
Isn't that amazing? That sold me. I was like, I'm in. And it was so crazy because after the cleanse, I could feel like I felt that happen inside my body. It was very interesting.
So, it's what's interesting too is working with those with ozone therapy that I do in my clinic. I work with blood, and we don't see this, but when I work with the blood, I have the privilege of seeing what hydration. So people go around and you don't drink enough water, guys. It looks almost just like that, except not at the microscopic level. When you see the blood, it's sluggish, it's thick. It's just, and so when you look at cardiovascular events and when you look at strokes and things like that, that's happening, I always tell people, like, look at stuff you can do at home as well. Hydration is a big part of that, and doing that cleanse and really keeping your cells nice and fluid.
Put a 1 in the chat if you feel like you drink half of your body weight in ounces of water, and put a 2 in the chat if you feel like you don't. We're just putting y'all on blast. Today, I have not drank enough water. I will tell you that.
What if we know
me
we don't?
neither.
What if you know you don't? Then put like 1,000.
3.
Put 1,000 there. So, right. Depends on the day. I think I'm that way too. I try to be really good about it. And there's just some days that I just don't.
It's hard. It's hard. But we're 60% water, guys. We look solid. We're 60% water. So if we don't give our bodies that water that it needs, then your cells are not getting the nutrients that you get from your gut or anywhere in your body. Think of that too.
Mm-hmm. Does anybody have any questions? Is there something?
Donna.
You're so funny, Donna. She said, can someone pull my plug? So does anybody have any questions? Do you want to know about something that Sharon's doing? Do you want to know about any of the products that I presented? Is there something out there? Do you have a question about inflammation? Do you have a question about something that's going on with you? We don't care. All questions are open. I understand. And that's totally okay, Praveen, that you have that information of things that you can do on your own, and utilize those. And I'm happy to email you those slides so you have that list of things of how you can support yourself with inflammation at home. Thank you, Sharon, for typing that in.
Yes.
So I totally understand. And so there's no shame in that. It's all good. Just know that you're totally supported here, and we're happy to help and answer questions. And there's so many things that we can do at home. It helps us in a larger way to be able to, yes, I can. Let me share my screen again. I'm sorry. Guess I could have left those up in a different way. Okay, let's see. Hold on. Let me pull my chat back up because I'm losing it. Hopefully you can see that.
Yes.
So perfect. And you can text Sharon too, Mary, if you want to chat with Sharon. You can text her at 702-518-0801, and that will get directly to her. And so
no, I see that you can eat. And in fact, guys, listen, I believe this, right? I don't want anybody to feel scared about, because people are afraid of going to see their nurse practitioner or their doctor because they think they're going to tell them, you have to change, you have to stop, you have to. And I'm very open with my clients. I work with you where you are, right? So if you're doing something like if you're drinking alcohol and that is causing some stress, there are some things that we can integrate into, you know, your whole lifestyle to help mitigate some of that stress, to help so that you can enjoy yourself, but at least you have a plan in place where you're also optimizing your body. Because if we're not intentional about that, our bodies don't have what it needs to support in this process.
Mhm. None of us live in a box. Nobody wants to cut every single thing of our enjoyable chocolate cake and red wine out of our, like, nobody wants to do that. And so I don't do it. I don't want to do that. I want to be able to enjoy, but you know, it's that point of, you know, 85-15. Like, can I do good 85% of the time
Right.
and play
Right.
around 15% of the time? Because if we do that, then we're way ahead of the game than playing around 85% of the time and only being good 15% of the time, right? So it's not ever about just taking everything out of your lifestyle and being miserable. That's not it. It's not it. And so trust me, I just had chocolate cake with my mom on Sunday for her 94th birthday, right? We also had pasta. I also had wine. That was probably not a great meal. But then the next day, instead of going back and doing that all over again, then I did better yesterday. Wait, yesterday? Yes. So Sunday we had pasta and wine and chocolate cake, and yesterday I did better. And so it's that balance that we have to play.
Do a little extra omega, do some
Right?
gymnasia, do, like, you know, there are these herbs, give yourself a little bit hit of that, you know, NAD or some nitric oxide, some beneficial things that's going to help your body kind of clear some of the stuff out while you
Yes.
enjoy your holiday.
Yes. Kim, did you get what you needed? Just want to make sure. So does
All right.
anybody have any questions about something that's going on with you, something that you want to know?
Thank you.
Thank you, Dolores.
JoJo, did you say this is a month program, your package that you're selling?
Yeah, that's 1 month. Typically, and some of it will last a little bit longer than that, but that is typically a month supply. We're not good, you know, we're not good every day. Sometimes we skip days. So typically it lasts.
It looks like a great package though.
It is. It is great. And at the end of the 30 days, it's, you know, it's way more supportive through the holidays than not doing it. That's for sure. And it will help with the cravings. It helps with those, you know, the brownie, cookie, sugar cookie, apple pie. Yeah. You know, we want to enjoy it, but it's the point of feeling like you can have one piece of pie instead of having the whole pie, right? So there comes a point where that balance happens in your body. So if that makes sense. So yeah. Yes, and she can work with you remotely. So with the Meridian stress analysis, that can be done remotely. Then she creates tinctures for you and she'll drop them in the mail and send them to you.
JoJo, quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
I've been doing a supplement program for years. So I'm, you know, and in fact, I just re-upped my whole thing.
Perfect.
Is there a way, can you just do the cleanse by itself? Because I'm very interested in doing that.
Absolutely.
Or what's your recommendation?
Yeah, you can. And so what we can do, and I'm happy to go through it with you, is see what you're utilizing currently.
Sure.
And what we can fill in with. And so
Okay.
it doesn't have
that'd be great.
everything, but we can figure it out. And I'm happy to do that with you.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. So yeah, Danielle, that's the code. So this is the virtual offer. So you can do it if you're local, you can go in and do it locally and go into the office. But if you're virtual, then this is what she can work with you virtually and do. So it's pretty cool. I've done it. I've been tested and retested. Yeah. So, you know, I'm utilizing all of these things myself. So I do my stuff on my side, but there's, you know, there's no question. It's not like a magic bullet. We have to fill things in everywhere. And
Yeah.
so presenting this all.
It's the way the body works. It works so complex that you need to support it in different ways. I used to be, as a primary care provider for my clients, I would say, okay, let's try this one thing and then see how it works and then come back. Well, they kept coming back because of course it was completely working for resolving whatever issues they had. So now I think of a multimodal approach to really balancing your system, because it's not like we only have a brain or a heart or bone. You know, we're a full set of all these complicated, sophisticated systems that we're so incredible to have the privilege to be born with.
Yes. My God. And that's interesting, because a lot of times when you go into a standard white coat doctor's office, they look at you in their field. But we are not just a head. We are not just a heart. We are an entire being, and it all talks to one another. And so it's so important. And, starting with gut health and working there on the way out, there's just so many different directions that we can go. But knowing that the stress is high right now with what's going on in the world, like everywhere, the stress is high. We see everybody's stress level becoming higher and higher. And that mental stress puts such stress on our cells in our body. And so we, it's our choice to step in and do some things that are different.
Right. Which is one of the stimulation for us doing this webinar, is that, we thought we need to start getting this information out there and getting a dialogue going about it, because we all feel it, right? We all feel there's something we don't quite feel right. And this is causing neuroinflammation, and this is causing systemic inflammation. So when you see things like thyroid issues developing, all these diseases that start happening because your immune system start misfiring it against itself, are autoimmune processes that result from this inflammatory chronicity that we accumulate over time. And so it's now, guys, it's not, in order to enjoy life, you need to help your body. And so these are some of the pleasures that you can continue to have if you start to look at it like that.
Yeah.
Thank
Does
you
anyone
all
else
for
have
coming.
any questions? I'm sorry, what'd you say?
No, I said thank you all for coming.
Yes,
It looks
thank
like
you.
yes, Dolores, mind-body connection, absolutely. So those are all the things that I have in my office to help get that well-oiled machine running great. Like we tune up our cars, we put oil, we change everything, but we don't quite think of doing that to our bodies. And so that's how I explain to people, come in and get your tune-up.
Yes. So if everyone, does anybody have any questions?
All right, I think they all have,
Good. I think we're good.
Yeah.
So if you feel you've taken one positive thing away from this that you can utilize on your own, will you drop a 1 in the chat for us, just so we can see that we had a little bit of impact today? We would appreciate that. Thank you. Well, thank you all. I'm glad. And know that we're here. We're not disappearing. And if anybody would like me to put the QR codes back up, I can do that real quick.
It looks like a lot of benefit.
Yes, good. I'm glad.
Excellent. You're welcome.
Thank you.
So welcome.
Thank you. And Allison and Donna, I'm glad to have that conversation with you, and we'll figure it out. And Danielle, for sure, we can. Yes, I will. I'm going to send the recording to everybody. So everybody that registered, I'm going to get it all converted over, and I will send you the recording so you have it as have it as a backup, so you can go back and listen again.
And I have a quick question for everyone. Like, is there a topic that you guys would love to hear us talk about, or anything you want to know about something related to health, or anything really? And drop it in the chat if there's something that you think that JoJo and I can offer you.
Because we've been thinking about talking about brain function and neurofeedback, and how our brain focuses and when it's off. And so we could do what about like a gut brain conversation, like what happens when our gut's in balance. Yeah. Insulin resistance. Good. Okay. Ooh, I like that topic, Lola. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, Allison, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I love it. Those are great ideas. Great ideas.
Thank you, guys.
So if anybody's interested, and I don't know that there was anything really posted in the chat that is supportive, but you can save your chat. If you go into like where you type your chat message in, there's little 3 dots. If you click on the 3 dots, you can click on the thing that says save chat. So that will send it right to your little file in your computer. So you can go back and read the chat if you feel you need to. Thank you all so much for being here. Sharon, thank you for partnering up with me to support everyone through this holiday season. I appreciate you.
Yes. Merry Christmas, guys. Happy New Year and happy holidays.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Happy holidays. We'll see you soon. Bye.
See you soon.